In this video, I'm diving deep into how discipline is actually the key to unlock the door to any success that you'd go after. So you might think that discipline is all about restrictions and holding yourself back. But actually, I believe that discipline is the key to freedom. And if you want freedom and success in your life, mastering discipline is the first step. If you're new to the channel, my name is James Eardley. I've built and scaled my e-commerce business to over 7 figures, and that has enabled me time and location freedom. Now, my mission with these videos is to help you to achieve the same success. So I'll paint a picture of you first for how my life used to look about 3.5 years ago, before I started any of my businesses. I would wake up and I'd roll over with the alarm that went off on the bedside table, and I'd start scrolling on my phone first thing in the morning. And as soon as I started scrolling or watching a YouTube video, I was stuck in that mode of watching the video for at least the first 20 minutes of the day. And then I'd pull myself out of bed, get into the shower, take my time in the shower, and then go through the rest of the day in a rush, because I'd taken my time in the morning, I'd switched into reactive mode, and I was just consuming information, I was just consuming entertainment all around me. And then I was in a rush then to get to my 9-to-5 job, because I've been in that mode of consuming and not being proactive with the day, not being disciplined. And so then the rest of the day I'd feel like I was being dragged through the day instead of actually being the master of my day that I was actually creating. So the difference there is that I wasn't disciplined, and without discipline, I wasn't able to get focused on the things that really mattered. I was being reactive, and I wasn't enjoying the day because I was being pulled in every different direction, and it was all passive. And I see so many people living that passive life where we're consuming entertainment. It's fun in the moment, but in the long term, it leads to a life of unfulfillment. And then you have that feeling on a Sunday night and a Monday morning of dread because you're going through the same motions. Now, if you want success, and success for me is all about freedom, it's about having the freedom to do what you want, when you want, with whoever you want, then you'll need to get discipline mastered first. Because the only way you can be free, I believe, in this world is to master your finances so that you can then choose what you do each day. And the way you master your finances is by providing value to other people. And to provide value to other people, you need to be proactive. You need to switch that switch in your mind from being a consumer to being a producer. And you need to start producing, whether that's with businesses, whether that's with content, whether that's with anything that you produce or services that you provide. You need to start providing value, and then you can live the life that you want to live. And that's the key. So that's the difference. Now, paint a picture of my life now with discipline, and it's completely worlds apart. Now I wake up early in the morning when my alarm goes off, and my alarm is always on the other side of the room, so it makes me get up out of bed to actually get there and get the alarm and get the day started. Then I will wake up and I'll go through a little morning routine that just gets me up and ready for the day. And notice I won't look at my phone for as long as possible in the day. So what I'll do is some meditation, so some breathing, really take some time to get focused on my breath. I'll then visualize what I want to be doing in 15 years, 5 years. I'll then do some gratitude, and I'll then do some exercise in the gym before then sitting down and doing the most important task for my business in that day. Now, it's a habit now, and it gets into a habit, it gets into a routine eventually. But first you need the discipline to be able to do that instead of the passive morning, which is looking at your phone. So I learned a lot recently, and I want to share this all with you. So first of all, we need to define what discipline actually means. And it's different from the misconceptions. I think in school we're taught about discipline being you're disciplined by teachers or by your parents if you're doing something wrong. So we have this connotations with the word discipline of a negative feeling, and you're only disciplined if you've done something wrong. But actually, it's one of the most positive things you can do for your life is to have self-discipline over what you do. You have the choice in life to either have the pain of discipline, and it's pain because in the immediate term, you have to get off your phone. You have to take the action that you need to take. You have to go to the gym. But what it is, you either do the pain of discipline or it's the pain of regret. And if you don't take those actions up front, and if you're not disciplined, I believe it's a lot more painful, and it leads to a much harder life in the long run because you have those feelings of shame, those feelings of regret because you're not disciplined. So the way I like to view it is that it's going to be painful either way, but you have the choice. So if it's going to be painful because of discipline, or it's going to be painful because of regret, to give yourself a much easier life in the long term and a much better life and successful life, choose that path of discipline and take the difficult actions in the moment. So I've just delved into a little bit about how I stay disciplined, and a big part of that is this legend planner. This makes a huge difference with staying disciplined. And if you struggle to stick to a routine, if you struggle to stick to habits, then I believe this legend planner, it would be a game changer for you. You can pick it up from Amazon for about £20, but what it does is it allows you at the start of every day to decide what it is the most important task for that day will be. And it breaks up every week into the different days, and it allows you to write down what it is you're going to do every day, and it also allows you to track what it is you want to do every week. So if you want to stay disciplined and stay on track for doing something, then the only way you can do that is by being clear on what it is you want to achieve over the course of the next week and each day. So following a habit tracker is huge. Now, the second point about how to become more disciplined, as well as using a tool like a legend planner, is to realize that every action you take is a vote towards your new identity. So if you want to be a certain identity, then every action you take, you are essentially voting for which identity you want to embody in your person. So if you decide to be undisciplined and to spend too much time on your phone, to avoid going to the gym, to avoid doing the most important tasks in your business, and if you decide instead to take the easy route, sit on the sofa, before, at the start of the day, to be too much on your phone at the start of the day, to not take the critical tasks, then every time you do that, it is a decision for the person you want to be. Because even when no one's watching around you and there's no one and you're on your own, there will always be one person watching, and that is you. You're always watching yourself. You're always judging your own actions. So although you think nobody else can see, you know in yourself what actions you're taking, and you will create an identity, and your thoughts around who you believe you are as a person will be dictated by those actions you take while no one is watching. So that's another actionable step to take away from this, is realize that you are always watching yourself, and you can't get away with being undisciplined, because it has a huge impact, because it means that you will realize or view yourself, and you'll create this identity as a non-disciplined person. And so that will then lead to more inaction and to lead to more undisciplined behavior, because you then view yourself as somebody that struggles to remain disciplined. So you can work it in two ways. It works in like a spiral effect. If you have discipline and you show disciplined actions, you'll then see yourself as a disciplined person, take more disciplined actions, get better and better and better, and achieve more success. And it works in spiral downwards the other way as well. So if you take undisciplined actions, you'll then spiral downhill as well, because then you view yourself as less disciplined. You'll then take less disciplined actions, and so on and so forth, and it goes down in the spiral as well. So you have a choice about which way you want that spiral to be going, and it all takes with one action initially. That's where it starts, and that will lead to more and more, and you can either go up that spiral or down that spiral. Now, nobody is perfect, and I'm not claiming to be perfectly disciplined all the time, and you won't be either. But the point behind this is that you just need to focus on the majority of the time. So how you are for 80% of your time is more important than focusing on needing to be 100%. So what I see too many people do, and what I did initially, was I set these huge unrealistic standards for myself, and I decided to go from 0 to 100 straight away. So for example, when I was first starting, I was in my 9-to-5 job, I wasn't particularly disciplined, I didn't have all these tips and tricks that I know now. I thought I would just set myself this huge new routine to follow, where I'd wake up at 5 a.m, I'd go to the gym every day for an hour, and I would wake up early to start reading, and I'd read like a chapter of a book every day, and I would go from nothing to too much in one go, and then I would be upset and stop if I didn't achieve 100% of my routine. And so it was like, if I don't get 100% of this routine done, then I'm a failure, and I'm not disciplined, and then there's no point carrying on. So that was very unhelpful, because I couldn't sustain that in the long run. Now the difference is that I've now been able to stay to a routine, and a disciplined routine, for over 3 years now, and I believe that's because I've made it sustainable. I haven't made it something that I can't sustain for 3 years. So when you think about how can you put a routine in place that's disciplined and will allow you to achieve the success that you want, the key to it is that it's sustainable. So if you know that you will struggle and you won't be able to wake up at 5 a.m. for the next 3 years, don't do it for the next 3 days. If you know that you can wake up comfortably from 7 a.m. and you know you'd be able to do that for 3 years, then that's the point that you want to take. It's something that's sustainable, and you'll get your gains over the long run much more than you will over the short run. You'll get no effects over doing something for 3 days. You can have the best routine in the world. If you follow that for 3 days, you won't get anywhere. If you have a 80% routine that is not as strong, but you know you can follow it for 3 years, you'll have so much more results than the 3 days of action. And that leads on to the next point of discipline, and it's about making it a habit. And it takes 66 days apparently for a habit to stick. So that means whatever new routine you want to take about becoming disciplined, if that's starting a business or if that's getting into the gym, then you need to know that you are committing to it for at least 66 days, so that at that point it will become a habit, and at that point you'll be able to not have to put too much effort in to stay with that routine. So for example, with a routine, if you want to become an entrepreneur or to start a business, then your routine will be, most likely the first thing you need to do in the morning, every morning, is the most important task for your business. An income generating task needs to be ticked off first thing in the morning. So as long as you make that your habit and your routine, and you do that every day for 66 days, at that point, not just all of the results you'll have achieved in 66 days, but even better than that, it will become a habit. And so that will become natural for you to do that every day then moving forward, and you can do it over the long run. There was a study in Forbes where nearly 80% of successful business owners admit to having great self-discipline and that being critical to their success. So when you study, and Forbes have studied the most successful people around, what they often cite as the most important thing or one of their best traits is self-discipline. So this is why it's so important to focus on this for any success or any pursuit that you're going into. The second point is then, with that planner, you need to decide on a sustainable routine that isn't going from 0 to 100. It's going from 0 to 20, and then you can build your way up from 20 to 40 to 60 to 80 in terms of how difficult that routine is for you to follow. Make sure you just start slowly and just add one thing, the extra, on top of whatever it is you do at the moment, and just build that up gradually. The third thing is then to follow that routine for at least 66 days. So commit to it initially and find out what the date is in 66 days time from when you start this and watch this video, and realize that that is the day that you'll pat yourself on the back by following this routine every day until that point. And then what you'll have achieved in those 66 days will be massive with that new routine. And also you'll have instilled a habit as well that you can then follow for longer and months and years to come. So give yourself that gift of discipline. Don't see it as a restriction. You are gifting your future self, and you're looking after your present self. You're looking after the identity that you give yourself by taking these actions. So feel that short-term difficulty, that short-term pain, but give yourself the long-term gift of a better, more successful life. So that's that. Just a quick note. If you are struggling to kickstart your journey out of a 9-to-5 job and into creating a life that you really feel passionate about, then click the first link in the description. Don't worry, it's not a £997 course. There's no case study or webinar. It's purely just a gateway to our Freedom Builders community, which is a place where we're all getting together, ambitious people wanting a better life for themselves, and we're talking about how we can improve our lives and ultimately build the freedom that we're looking for. It's there if you need it. Don't worry if you don't need it, but you can take a look if you feel like it's right for you. And that is everything for this video. Hopefully you found value in what we've discussed today. If you have, hit that like button. It helps more than you know. Also, drop a comment with your thoughts to shape future videos that I create, and hit that subscribe button for more insights on how to empower your journey towards freedom. Your engagement really supports the channel, and it keeps this community that we're building thriving. Remember, you're not just watching a YouTube channel here, but you are joining a movement. So thanks for being here, and as always, keep pushing forward. I will catch you in the next video, and remember, every step that you take is another step towards your freedom. Cheers.